long. So that's what we're going to be decorating. And in just a minute, I will adjust the camera to get a bit of height so you can sort of see, hopefully better what's going on. You won't probably be able to see the whole thing all at once because it is quite long, but at the very end, I can sort of show it. And I'm going to be wiring on today because you can use a glue gun. And if any of you have a glue gun, you probably know how beneficial it is. Glue guns are fantastic. You know, you just heat them up and you can just glue in anything and it sticks. But like last week with the wreath, the benefit of using wire is you can adjust it. So maybe if you're a beginner and haven't decorated something before, haven't made a garland or haven't made a wreath, you'll be able to adjust anything when you sort of walk away from it and look, or you put it up on your mantle and you go, oh, that just doesn't look right there. I should need to adjust that wee bit. You know, all you have to do is reposition it with the wire. So that's what we're going to use today. And I'm just going to start here. And this, I'm going for sort of a natural look. You can choose your own sort of look to coordinate with your decorations. Silver is popular, more gold color, glittery, black and white can be a theme, all sorts of different colors. I'm going for more the natural look. So I'm going to be using pine cones, cinnamon sticks. I'm going to use some artificial greenery and show you how to get good value for money by cutting it. And then wee decorative bits and pine cones and things. So so I'll just get started here, reposition the camera a wee bit. Let's see here. Probably a bit better there. So you can see I've already started adding on some wee bits to it because it is difficult to get the whole thing sort of wired in an hour. So you can see from the camera, the middle bit has nothing's been added. And the end bits, I've been adding some wee bits and pieces. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put lights through it. And you can wait until the end to put your lights through it. But for garland, I want the lights sort of recessed a bit. So I'm just gonna put those in now and I'm just gonna lay them through. I'm not going to tuck them in too much. I'm not going to wire them at this stage because I'm just going to get them in, and then later on when I've got my decorations I can actually go and adjust the lights a wee bit because I might want to bring them up a bit to make the lights more prominent in an area. So at this stage I'll just push them in there. And these wee lights, I used these last week in the wreath, and they're timer lights, and they are brilliant because they're on a wee timer and they come on for 8 hours and then they go off, but that makes them a wee bit more expensive. So they were $3.99 or $4.99 from Wise Buys, but you can substitute and just use your Poundland lights, and it may take 2 sets of those Poundland lights because they're shortish and they're just run on batteries, or you could put your electrical lights on, just plug them in.
I was just going to ask you, Kelly, is it battery lights, or would it be easier on a mantelpiece than the plug-in one if you're not near a socket?
Yeah, if you're not near a socket and you don't want to have wires sort of going all through the house and the wall, the battery lights are brilliant. They do last a long time. If you get the cheaper ones, just remember to turn them off at, you know, when you go to bed.
Yeah.
And then they last. I've had those batteries that last 2 years in battery lights. But if you turn them on all the time, they won't last as long. The timers are good because it saves your battery, but they're a little bit expensive. But if you have a plug, an outlet right beside your mantle, you can just use your normal lights and plug it in right there to the mantle. So the next bit, my garland came with some berries, but I love berries, and I'm going to have berries as a bit of a feature. So this is optional. You can just stick with a few dotted berries that were already on your wreath, or you can buy a wee set of berries in Poundland and just stick those in. I'm going to use a berry garland. I was adding up what it would cost to buy individual little berries to put in for £1 each. And if I bought a fiver's worth, I would just have berries dotted all around. But this costs $4.99 at the range. And I thought it was really good value and loads of berries. And you could actually cut these and use them for all sorts of crafting projects with your wire cutters or scissors. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to work this in down into the greenery. And don't forget, whenever you buy your wreath or your garland and you come home, it needs fluffed out a little bit. So the first thing I do is, you know, fluff it out a little bit. And then you want your back for your mantelpiece to be flat. So sometimes you just have to maneuver it a little bit. And then at the very end, you might have to make some adjustments so that it actually sits on your mantelpiece. So I'm just going to work the berries in, and you sort of want to try to get a 3D effect. You want some things recessed, and then you want some things to protrude a bit, and that gives more interest. And because these berries are wired berries, they're really flexible. So you could play around and adjust those any way you want. And they're beautiful. Some of them are frosted. I think you can sort of tell in the video. So some of them are frosted. And so I'm just gonna work those along. And you can sort of already see that's quite a filled in wreath.
Looks great so far.
Yeah, do you know what? If you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want something that's very natural looking, you could almost just sort of stop, you know, with your berries and your lights and just don't go any further. You could put on a few more wee pine cones, which you could pick up yourself and do a walk and dry them out and get the kids involved. So that's the sort of berries coming through. And like I say, all this stuff is, you could work it for as long as you want. But for this workshop today, I have sort of limited time to keep fiddling. So we will move on to the next bit. So what I've got now, we've got our lights, we've got our berries, and I've got little orange slices. And these are great for a natural look. And they started out, you can buy these for £1 for a tin, a little container tin in Poundland, or you can dry them in the oven yourself. For wreaths, just so you know, these don't work too well when they're outside. They get wet and they start actually just get moldy. So, but they're great for inside, and they'll be nice on the garland. And then you could glue these in, or what I've done is I've just pushed a wire through so that I can wire them in. So that's quite easy too. And just wire that in. And it's also nice to have them positioned sort of recessed in and out. And you can see the difference hopefully there. That's one that just came out of the pack to the right, or to my right. And then this one here that's been wired, I've added just a wee bit of glitter glue. So if you have kids or grandkids, they would love doing that. And you can get them involved. You can get them putting on the glitter glue. And I've put a few little iridescent sprinkles on that glitter on that as well. So you can just work those on your wreath. And again, the good thing about the wiring is you can maneuver them a wee bit. So you can sort of see I can fold that over or down a wee bit, and it moves. If you were using a glue gun, it doesn't move as much.
And where would you buy that wire, Kelly?
You can buy wire. Now I've used silver wire here because it's really thin. That's floral wire, and you can buy wee packs of wire in the range or the Hobbycraft and things like that. Or you can get just this cheaper wire that's green, which is fine. And it came from Poundland, and it's 37 meters, and it's quite flexible. So I had different wire last week, but I found that in Poundland and I was quite happy with that. You know, wouldn't be sore on kids to use or anything. And if you've any arthritis or anything like that, it's very pliable. So that's quite a good wire as well. So you can go with the cheaper wire.
It's great that Poundland and Home Bargains stock all this stuff, so it makes it more affordable, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But you have to watch sometimes, because I'll show you an example in a few minutes of two different products. I got one at the cheaper shop and one at a more expensive shop, and the product I got at the more expensive shop was actually cheaper than at one of the pound type shops.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. You do have to, well, shop around.
Shop around, I think.
Yeah, and that's not something a lot of us want to be doing at the minute either.
Exactly.
Going around shops and shopping around too much. So you can put in as many orange slices as you want. I got 2 packs of 10, so I have 20 here to play around with. And then you can get packs of the cinnamon sticks, which are lovely, and they look very decorative this time of year too. So they just come like that in a pack, and you get 10 for £1, which is very, very good, I think. And just to fancy them up a wee bit for Christmas, I've just tied a wee bit of sort of net ribbon. And the net ribbon you can pick up likes of Hobbycraft or online or at Wise Buys or the Range. And you only need a tiny bit of that. And the kids, again, would love being involved in this. So you just take your netting, and you could use a ribbon and tie wee bows if you wanted. But this netting is slightly glittery. And all you have to do, and if you had kids or anything, you just tie a knot in that. And then because the ribbon is kind of lacy, it almost looks like a bow already, but it's so much easier. And then I just put a little bit of wire around it to be able to wire it in. You could hide the wire, or to be honest, the wire is really not going to show that much. You could wire it first and put the ribbon around it after, just so it doesn't show. And then you just wrap it a couple of times and twist 2 or 3 times to hold it. And then you've got that. That one's a wee bit loose. Oh, that one's falling apart. Just when I was doing it in the air, when you do it on the table, you do it a wee bit tighter. So you can just tie your wee parcels of cinnamon sticks in throughout. And again, you can recess them down and you can make some more prominent, and just work those in as well. And like I say, you could stop at any stage. Some people like things that have lots of decorations and, you know, more fuller. And some people want something that's quite neat and minimal.
Suppose it depends on what your decor in your living room is like.
Yeah, and I think if you do get kids or grandkids involved, they love just putting loads of stuff on. So
yeah,
so yeah, it just depends, doesn't it, on your decorations. And what I'm doing, really, I'm not really wiring even to the base of the garland. I'm just wiring to a wee bit of pine that's coming out, and you wire to different. You wire some in down low, maybe to the base, and you wire some in to the greenery, and that gives you a bit of a 3D effect. And then you can fluff and recess a bit. So you can work away with cinnamon sticks and orange slices. And then the next thing I have is some green, or some, this comes from the sort of artificial flower area of the shop, and I thought this was lovely. And what it is, it's a garland, and it was about 1.5 meters long. So you could sort of run that right through the middle, but I don't think it would look as nice because we've sort of ran the berries through. So what I'm going to do is cut this, and this only costs $1.49 at the range, which was one of the examples I was talking about, because I went to B&M and got some wee snowflake garland, which I've cut into little shapes, and it was $1.99, whereas this lovely glittery leaves was $1.49. And all you have to do to make wee pieces to wire in, you just take your garland and you cut it. And this would be really common practice in like floral shops. They would cut a lot of their materials and different things. If you think about corsages and artificial flower arrangements that are smaller, you cut and you just adjust your materials to suit what you're doing. Because you might think, oh, it's a shame to cut up that garland. But by doing that, I get loads of little pieces. And then you can either glue them in, or you can just put a wee bit of wire. And I'll just show you how easy putting a bit of wire is around the leaves. So I've got little leaf clusters, and you can see that they've got like little branching sections. So all you have to do is loop your wire over a branching section. You could loop it, twist it around a wee bit, and then just twist it, and you know, just twist your wire around that, and that's secure. So you get loads of wee branches, and you can go in and recess some of these. And again, you just wrap the wire around your branch. And with the wire, you can kind of adjust and twist these and get them where you want them. You know, when you finish and you walk away to sort of have a good look at it, you can sort of see any adjustments that you need to make.
Kelly, just had a question here from Deirdre. Just wondering, do you use special craft scissors or just ordinary scissors?
I have every type of scissor you can imagine. I've got floral scissors and all sorts of different scissors. But do you know what I always tend to go to? It's just normal scissors, good scissors.
Yep.
Ones that I suppose those could be kitchen scissors, almost like kitchen scissors, or just general scissors for cutting paper. But as long as they're sharp, you know, they do the job. Those are good. You can get crafting scissors. I sort of like ones that are long and pointed and sort of sharp. To be honest, the blunt scissors, the kids' scissors would even cut the wire. The wire I'm using is really thin, and that little garland was really thin. It's just like a plastic. It's plastic and it's got glitter on it. If you had something more substantial that was like wired flowers that you're cutting and putting in, you might need wire cutters or good sturdy scissors. So you can sort of see how this is coming together. And excuse my arms and things, and it might show it in the camera. I'm just sort of doing this back to front, but I'm just wearing these little gold pieces, and you can sort of see here, I was going for natural sort of colors, but the gold I felt just added a wee bit of sparkle, and it sort of tied in. I was actually putting silver against the sort of berries and the orange slices and things earlier, and I just decided, you know, I was going to use silver, and I thought, no, I think the gold just sort of ties in a little bit better, but you could easily use silver. And this is another example of a wee bit of artificial greenery stem for decoration. That one came from Wise Buys. I think it's lovely, and it only costs $2.99 a stem. And if you were making a wreath or a garland out of this, once again, you would just be looking to see the wee areas that have like a stem and bits connected to it. I would probably need wire cutters for this one, but you would just be cutting right there. and you'd have a little stem to put in, and you could make probably about 20 from that. And you could, if you have a glue gun, you could just use the little tiny pieces and either wire or just glue them in. So that would be lovely as well. So again, just to go with your color scheme. So I'm going to place some of these, and sometimes I don't like to spend loads of time wiring on the video because the wiring does take up a little bit of time, and I can sort of do that later. You can get the kids involved in wiring as well, and you can see I'm going to make 2 pieces out of that, so just find a natural place to cut it, and then that's 2 wee pieces. And you would be wiring all those in. I just sort of spread them, and you can make little clusters. I think for Christmas it's nice to sort of spread out your bits and have it going, all your little decorations, have it going in different directions, but you can sort of see how that's
Looks great.
Now, I know some people, you could stop here or you could keep going. I'm going to keep going a wee bit, but some people don't even wire in. You know, it's a good idea to wire in because then all your decorations aren't falling out. You know, say the door opens at a gust of wind, you don't want things falling all over the place. But I do know a few people who they just get their garland and they set it on their mantle or their table. This would be lovely as a centerpiece of a table. And sometimes they'll just set in the decorations, and then after Christmas they'll put the decorations away, and they change the look of their garland every year. So they don't actually glue it in or wire it in because they want to change it every year, and they would just put in, you know, pine cones and maybe baubles and different things. So you could do that as well.
I notice you've used wire for most of those things, Kelly, but what specifically would you use a glue gun for then?
You can glue in the wee cinnamon sticks. You could glue in the wee orange slices, and it would just be a case of, if you had your glue gun, you would just put, you know, a dot of glue down to one corner, and you would find a bit of something to stick it to.
Yeah.
And you would just stick it on.
And does the glue hold it pretty well? Yes.
The glue gun holds it amazingly. Yeah, it's very, very good, the glue gun. It would be sort of the glue gun is sort of permanent-ish. And another reason why I'm not using it for this, and I think wiring is good for beginners. If you have, like if you were trying to pull an orange slice off that you had a hot glued with the glue gun, the likelihood that you'd damage the orange slice, you might even ruin it. So if you were looking to reposition things, you know, you could end up pulling things off and kind of ruining some stuff.
And where would you buy the glue gun? Would you get those in Poundland or the range?
Yeah, you can get glue guns almost, like loads of shops have them now. The Hobbycraft, and a lot of shops have the very inexpensive crafting glue guns, and they would be about £3. And they don't get as hot, so they would be the ones that maybe kids would also use in school or for crafting. But you do have to watch kids with glue guns because they get hot enough to burn your finger, your hand. Now I bought a glue gun from Wise Guys, and I bought one in Dunelm that I thought was brilliant, and it doesn't leak out the glue. Some of the glue guns, cheaper ones, you waste more glue and it leaks out everywhere. And I've just bought one recently at the range, which is cordless, and it was $9.99, so it's a really expensive glue gun. But so that's my Christmas present. So a glue gun. So I'll just show you here. You can be really creative when you're decorating a wreath or a garland. So this came from B&M, and it was a long garland that was all stuck together. You know, you bought this as about a meter probably of garland. Oops. And it's really pretty and it's glittery and it's fairly inexpensive. So I've just cut with scissors or a wire cutter. You just cut the wee wire that's connected them. You almost need a wire cutter for that. And then you just separate them and they turn into little individual decorations that you can put into your garland. So if you were to go to a shop and buy these individually, you know, something like that might cost, you know, 69p each or something. So if you're counting the number you get in a garland and you cut it up, you can really save money that way. So I'm just going to add in a few little snowflakes, and that is probably be me. But you can sort of see, you know, you can add in as much stuff as you want. You can have a color theme, whether it's silver or whether it's, you know, red and green, or whether it's all kind of natural things. You can get colored lights. I noticed at Poundland, they have all sorts of lovely colored lights, like red berry lights, all sorts of different things. Bells and different things.
Give me 1 minute.
Thanks.
The video wouldn't look good too.
Okay, and then I'll just show you here. So that little garland that I cut up, you end up with a piece like that. That one has a wire on it, which is it's cheap and it's gonna rust. So I'm just gonna take that little wire off. And then all you have to do is get a piece of your Poundland wire, cut off a wee piece, and just sort of take it through. There's natural places on there to wire it because there's little holes in it. If you had a little ornament that didn't have any holes in it, you just sort of wrap it around and try to hide the wire. So I've just put that through and I just twist it a little bit, 2 or 3 times, maybe twice at the back. And that's really secure. And that gives you something to work with to wire it into your garland.
Kelly, we just have another question here from Avril. And she asks, is there anything you can add on that doesn't have glitter? Because she's not too keen on using glitter. I suppose maybe glitter gets everywhere and you can't really get rid of it.
Yeah, glitter does get everywhere. And for the Christmas sort of season, glitter is really popular, and a lot of people, that's when they sort of bring out the glitter. But I definitely know what you mean. If you have pets or a small child, you know, or you just don't want the mess, you would be looking for things that don't have glitter. And I know you can get the lovely berries that don't have any glitter or don't have any decoration. Of course, your greenery, your pine or your fir garland greenery that you're starting with doesn't have glitter. The wee cinnamon sticks and pine cones and orange slices, they didn't have any glitter on them. I sort of put some glitter on them, so they're available. You can get lovely ribbon that doesn't have any glitter on it, and even netting or red sort of ribbon. And what you can even do for your ribbon to decorate, just sort of scrunch wee bits, and you can actually tie the bottom of that. You just twist your wire around a couple of times and twist it over at the back. So that's secure. I would cut that. Just don't want to kind of waste that. But you can make wee little ribbon decorations, and you could be just wiring those in to your getting a delivery of something there at the back door. So that would look nice too, wouldn't it? To have little,
yeah, that looks good. That's a good idea.
Little looped ribbons. So if you wanted to, this netting is brilliant. You can get wired ribbon. The wired ribbon, 2 meters, cost £1, but you could make wee little decorations like that.
You could nearly make that into a bow, couldn't you?
You could make it into a bow. You could have maybe a bow in the middle or a bow at the ends. I'm not a big fan of bows on garland, so I wasn't going to put a bow on this. But I do like the wee,
yeah, that's nice.
that would be scattered. I sort of like that.
Yeah, that's nice.
I might actually do a couple of those, but you would have these, you would make these, and you just cut it, and you wire those in, and you would sort of scatter them throughout, and they give a bit of lift, and you can get non-glitter. Other things that non-glitter decorations, you could wire in baubles that don't have glitter, and you can even get, you know, you have your stars, so you could wire in, rather than having any glittery stuff, you could wire in some baubles that, you know, you could group them. When I did the wreath last week, it used baubles. And for any of you that kind of wasn't here, it's just a case of running a wire through baubles, and you just choose whatever color scheme, and you can get non-glitter or you can get glitter. And it's just really easy to do wreaths or garland. And I'm just looping over the wire a bit to hold that in place, and that gives me a wee cluster. Sort of nice to work in threes, because it's sort of, if you're placing about maybe 5 or 7 of these or more, and they're in wee groups of 3 and they're dotted about, just helps draw the eye in, and it's more relaxing. But you can see just doing that, isn't that a nice way to decorate? And you could just have baubles going all through your garland, and there's no glitter. You can get wee bits of eucalyptus that doesn't have glitter, and you could cut your greenery with no glitter, like the eucalyptus, the same sort of way, and just put that in just to give it a different texture, which would be lovely too. So, so yeah, I think it'd be really interested to know if you know how to use the chat. Does anybody have a specific color scheme that they use at Christmas? Purple, black, white? I think that would be kind of interesting.
Feel free to put your suggestions into the chat. I like creams and golds myself, or bronze is nice as well. You know, it's kind of natural, bronze, gold, and cream. But depends on your decor, I suppose. Oh, someone has said purple, cream, and gold. That looks good. Purple's lovely. I like purple.
So you'd get purple baubles, or some purple. I haven't seen purple beads. I've seen loads of purple baubles.
I see Angela said that it's hard to get purple decorations. I know what you mean. Although TK Maxx sometimes do. I know they can be, but I think I saw purple decorations in there recently. But I think purple's becoming more common now, and I love it myself. Actually, it's actually the color of NIRWN, so I like purple.
Very good. I'll make a few more of these just to dot in. You can get purple. This sort of thin, lacy ribbon comes in purple and silver, and you know that would go with your purple scheme. I've seen people use this in their Christmas tree. They make wee loops for a Christmas tree. You would make bigger loops than this, and I've seen people wire. Well, you don't even have to wire them to your Christmas tree. You would secure the bottom of them, and then you would just put them, you know, push them in to your Christmas tree.
And Kelly, Maura has just said she really likes the traditional look that you've done with the berries and the oranges and the cinnamon sticks. She said it looks beautiful, and so it does. I think red, it's hard to beat red and green and gold for Christmas. Like, it's traditional and looks the part.
Yeah, for video, I tend to use red because online it's very eye-catching. You know, if I was muting this down, if I wasn't using any red, it would actually be hard to see on the video as well. But I do like red at Christmas time. It would be my favorite sort of color.
Yeah.
And then I have like 3 generations of very keen crafters in the family. And I've put up 2 Christmas trees, but one of my trees is just all handmade ornaments, and they're all shapes and colors. So I call it my country Christmas tree because it's just all the there's blue, red, all different colors on it. But you can sort of see these wee fluffy net ribbon just sort of tied in. They really sort of, if you're looking for something that's a wee bit different and decorative, you could put those throughout. And they're quite nice too. You could just put those in the center to show you what they would look like. And then look at the whole thing. Has anybody got their decorations up yet? Good.
Well, I haven't put mine up first weekend in December usually, but I don't know about anybody else.
If you want to unmute anyone, or if you want to
if you want to speak, just unmute yourself if you can. Can I unmute everybody?
I know a lot of people have a certain time that they put up their Christmas decorations, and I know some people wait till the week before. Some people the 1st of December. Where I live, half the houses are already decorated, and once somebody starts, that gets everybody going. And some people have their windows done and everything. So it seems to be a lot earlier this year.
I see a message from Helga. She says she has a family tree and a good tree. So the family tree has all the decorations made by herself and the kids, and then she puts them up on the 1st of December normally, but she's going to put them up this weekend. I see a lot. I see my neighbour's got reindeers and everything in the garden with lights and everything. So, and it's really, I suppose for the kids, when you've got kids, you want to put them up sooner.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think people with kids tend to put them up a lot sooner. So I'm wearing in some of these bits that I didn't wear in before, and what I would do is, like I say, I'm doing this sort of back to front, and when I'm finished with this, I would sort of walk away from it, and then I would see any sort of bits that kind of need adjusting a bit, because sometimes, you might be off balance. I might have ended up putting, 3 or 4 cinnamon sticks all at one area and not spreading them out. So I would have a wee look, and do that. But that's the way it's sort of coming together at the minute. And I would probably be stopping soon. What I would be doing is, having a look and just seeing if there's any wee gaps. And then I would be pushing in. I would turn on my lights, which I'll kind of do now. Hopefully it won't be too... No,
that looks amazing with the lights on. Beautiful.
So you can sort of see those lights, and I could go back and I could tie in just a little bit that berry garland that didn't tie in at the beginning. And I might pull out, sometimes your lights, when you put them on early on, they actually get covered up and hidden. So I would be just playing around with lights and making sure that, they can be seen and they're evenly sort of throughout. But you can sort of see that, how it's come together.
It's beautiful.
And the bits and pieces. So with your pine cones, I'll just show you 2 in case I showed this last week. But you can buy pine cones at Hobbycraft or different shops. And, even at the Poundland, you get like 6 little pine cones, and it's £1. This time of year, if you take a walk, and kids love this as well, you can pick up pine cones and you can just heat them in the oven at a low temperature. I did this size here, actually burnt some of them, so you have to watch that. But those there, I put at 150 for about half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and they open up. And then all you have to do, you can paint them, you can glitter them, you can have the kids do that. You can spray them with silver spray paint, and then all you have to do to secure them in, there's a natural place to just put your wire and you just twist that. So that's secure. And then you have pine cones that you can wire into wreaths, your decorations, and they're free because you've picked them up. The kids love that, love watching the pine cones open. And there's all sorts of pine cone crafts too. So
You're getting great compliments here, Kelly. Somebody says, Helga says it's stunning, and Deirdre said fabulous. And also Kathy had said that I think the decorations go up early because of the lockdown, and it helps to raise the vibe. And, you know, I think we'd all agree with that. You know, we need a bit of, to lift our spirits a bit. So the decorations always give a nice cozy feel, I think, in the house.
Yes, and I think the decorations will be going up a lot this weekend because of the change in the lockdown situation, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So I'm just going to show that again, where we're at. And like I say, it does need a wee bit of fiddling around with probably, but...
And how would you fasten that to the mantelpiece, Kelly? Because I know I had one like that, and I ended up using sellotape to sellotape some of it down, because you know the way you twisted the pine, it didn't really sit. If you moved, touched it at all, it would have fallen off. Do you ever fasten it down?
I try not to. I try to put it up on the mantelpiece, place, and then you see the back. Sometimes you have to lift sort of the back pieces up a little bit so that, you know how if your mantel's quite small and your garland's too big and that it wants to slide off. So I would place it and I would lift the back a little bit so it's not wanting to slip off. And then I would probably use a wee bit of masking tape, because masking tape is less likely to pull off any, you know, your paint or damage the wood. I find a lot of other tapes want to, you know, they might damage something. You can also get floral tape, but it's expensive. Not everybody's going to have floral sort of pot tape or something like that, which you could use. So
Helga has said here, commander hooks, she said they could be put on the mantle or the wall and wired to it.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Those hooks are quite good, and they don't seem to cause much damage.
That's a good tip. That looks amazing, Kelly. It's lovely. It's making me want to get mine done tonight.
We have to go, you know, you want to evenly get things all the way down. And then when you have it on your mantle, of course, you can add height. You can put candles, candle holders, and you could have some candles coming up through it. You could put, you know, the battery operated candles that are in a lot of the shops now. You could actually sort of put them in it. And how I would usually do that is I sort of make a wee space, you know, I sort of separate, and then I set the candle down in, and that's all secure. And then I wouldn't really light candles, but you know, the battery candles are great, and you could put those in, or even just for decoration, you have sort of your candles coming up. And like I say, the possibilities are endless. There's all sorts of floral things, so you could actually cut some of these and stick them in. These actually came from Tesco. They were sitting at the counter at Tesco, and sort of last minute sort of shopping, but you can see how you could add all sorts of little decorations. And if you're like me, you could keep going forever, but at some stage, look at it and go, no, I must stop because, you know, but you could put in wee things, wee curly bits going down as well. So yeah, have loads of fun and put those throughout. And so does anybody have any other questions?
No, I think we had a question there about how the participants can view the video which I'm recording, so I'm just letting them know that we'll be putting it up on our NIRWN YouTube channel. So Anne-Marie will probably email you all out the link, so you can gather up your materials and watch Kelly. Kelly can show you how to well, you can watch this video again and see how you've attached them all. So I think that's probably the best way to do it. So expect to get an email from Anne-Marie about the link. But there's no, go on ahead, Kelly.
Oh, I was just going to say that's brilliant because, you know, sometimes it's, you know, it's you watching a video a couple of times and then you just, you know, can go and do your own thing and bring in your own ideas. But yeah, it's a lot of fun doing the garland. And I was just going to say, so we have a couple sort of minutes, but you can use this for the mantle. But like I said before, this would look lovely down the center of a table for your decoration for Christmas Day. Or some people would put it along the hearth, you know, and decorate that way. I've seen loads of people would use these and they secure them around the banister, you know, the stairs, going up the stairs. So there's lots of different uses actually that you can use.
I've unmuted people there. If you want to unmute yourself and comment or say something, feel free. Yes, sorry, go ahead, Deirdre.
No, I just was going to ask a wee question. Did Kelly by any chance ever work for a group called TWN, Training for Women Network?
Yes, I did. Once upon a time, Deirdre, yes.
Well, once upon a time, I would be from the women's group in Swatter, a wee rural women's group, and we got funding from TWN, and I know I was working with you at the time, so I knew you were American, and I can hear the American Northern Ireland twang there, so I just was dying to ask that question, Kelly. So there you are. This is about 20 years ago.
Lovely, yeah, lovely to see you. Do you know what? I've been here 27 years, and I've still got a bit of the American accent.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, very good.
But of course, when I go back to family in America, they go, "Oh, you've got the accent from over there. You know, you don't sound American."
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I think you do sound American, Kelly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll probably always have that, but yeah, but I know I love it here, and yes, I did work there, so it's lovely to see you. So yeah, I'm happy. If anybody wants to ask anything at all, feel free. And I was actually surprised to get this done, but like I said, there'll be some tweaking. There's always some tweaking after.
But I think everybody does that. Even when I put up my Christmas tree every year and I sit down in the city and look at it and get up and move something because there's a hole, and then I move something else and I move something else until I'm satisfied with it.
I know, I think a lot of people do that. Some people don't. They go, no, that's it. So next week, if anyone hasn't signed up and wants to join us, we're doing lantern decorating. You know, the lanterns that seem to be all the craze this year. Seem everywhere. Garden centers, all, you know, Poundland have lanterns. So many different places have lanterns, and I'm going to be using a glue gun and decorating the lantern for Christmas.
Perfect. That's great. So is everybody happy enough then, or?
Can I just ask very quickly? I'm sorry I missed the very start of it. I had to go out. The garland itself, the base garland, where did it come from, or what are the recommendations for it?
The garland itself, this one I got from Argos, and it was 1.5 meter long, and it cost £10, and it had about 7 pine cones already on it, and it had like 5 clusters of berries. So I thought it was pretty good value, and it's good quality. So I was pretty happy with £10 for a garland. You can get all sorts of garlands at the range, and some of them, you know, cost £20 or above. So, you know, you can look around, but I got this one from Argos.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. And just in case you missed from the beginning, the wee berry garland that I put in, which I thought was really good value, was $4.99, and there's loads of berries on it. And you know, you could cut those up and use them in loads of different projects. Really good value for money, I think.
Where did it come from?
The range.
It's from the range. Okay, thank you.
Someone has asked here, Kelly, if there's any other shops apart from Argos that do like a basic garland.
Yeah, I've seen them at the range. Sometimes you can pick them up at the pound shops or Home Bargains and B&M, but I did see some at B&M. I can't remember how much they cost, but I do think some of the prices have gone up this year. And to be honest, B&M seemed a wee bit more expensive to me for things than they normally would be. But I think I saw some at B&M. The range has them. Wise Buys has some Garland. I've seen some Garland there. And I don't know if I've seen any. Trying to think. The range, Wise Buys, Argos, B&M, you might be able to get some.
Home Bargains as well, probably.
Home Bargains, good. Yeah.
And maybe even the supermarkets, Tesco or whatever, because they do their decorations as well. You never know, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. This one here from Argos, I've bought really cheap Garland in the past, and it sheds like anything, and it's all over the place. I have to say this one here has had limited shedding in case you're looking for something that's not going to, you know, keep losing greenery, the green bits. So this has had really limited shedding.
And I suppose it's worth getting a half decent one if you're going to be taking it out every year for years. So you might as well have a good base, I suppose, Kelly.
Yeah, I think so. I know the cheaper one that I got before came from one of the pound shops. Can't remember because I had it a long time. But every time I brought it out, it's just the place was covered. So yeah, sometimes just a couple of pounds more, you might get better quality. But it's hard to tell, isn't it? You don't really know until you get it.
Exactly. Well, listen, I'm just going to end it there, Kelly, and because that's our hour almost up. Unless you want to say something else?
No, I'm happy, and I just want to thank everybody for coming along, and hopefully I'll see you next week, next Friday.
Yeah, next Friday is the lanterns. I'm looking forward to that because I love storm lanterns. I have them all over the place, so it'll be great to see how to decorate them for Christmas. So hope to see you all then. Thank you all for coming, and thanks Kelly for a brilliant demonstration. And Anne-Marie will send out the link to the video for our YouTube channel. So.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kelly.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.